Morning,
Hello,
sir. Hello, good morning, sir.
good morning, madam. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. I,
I will bless God.
okay,
Welcome to today's class.
thank you.
Today's Today makes our seventh week of the November 2024 diet. And in today's class, we'll be looking at different topics. We have transfer pricing, base erosion and profit shifting, regional integration and trade blocks, current issues and emerging trends. Last week, we spoke about taxation of digital economy, taxation of non-residents, and double tax management. So we're only able to look at the taxation of non-residents, of which we solved one question. We solved one question. So today, the scheduled topics again are transfer pricing, chapter 7 of your study test, base erosion and profit shifting, chapter 18, regional integration and trade blocks, chapter 19, and current issues and emerging trends, chapter 20. So before we proceed on today's class, I would like to have one or more questions from the participants. Any question with respect to our previous classes? Is there no question? Okay, seems like we all understand um, what we did in our last class or what we've been doing for the past 6 weeks. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, one of our topics today is current issues and emerging trends as far as TAS is concerned. Okay, as far as TAS is concerned. So I would like to hear from the audience. What emerging trends, what issue, what current issue are you aware of as far as TAS is concerned in Nigeria today? What are the emerging trends in taxation today in Nigeria? So when I say today, I mean recently, within the last 1 year. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Oh yeah, any contribution? Let's contribute, please. So exam is around the corner now. Do we want to talk about the recently published withholding tax regulations? There are a lot of things that is happening in the tax space recently. So, and one of your topic is current issues and emerging trends. So, I can come from any angle. Okay, and imagine I can put in it as a 15 marks question. Mhm. So please let's ask questions. Okay, so let me pick it up since nobody is ready to talk. Recently, we have the list of bodies eligible for tax deductible donations. Okay, so in the past, there are restrictions to the type of institutes or institution for which donation can be made. Okay, so but this has now been expanded by the Minister of Finance in exercise of his power conferred by the section 25 subsection 6 of CETA. Then also we have a circular from the FIRS with respect to tax education. Okay, so you agree with me that the Finance Act of 2023 made provision with respect to educational institutes, okay, which are hitherto exempted from the payment of tax, but now they will be paying tax. And then there are conditions, okay. So we all know what educational institution is. We have preschools, basic or elementary schools, secondary schools, higher institutions such as universities, polytechnics, college of education, among others. So this institution may be incorporated under the relevant parts of Companies and Allied Matters Act, as amended. They could register as company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, or incorporated trustees. Okay, so depending on the form of company, there are tax liability. So whichever form of company you have chosen, each of these form of company has its own tax implications. Are we together? Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, for instance, we have tax liability of educational institutions under the provision of Section 23, subsection 1C of CETA. Section 23, subsection 1, subsection C, or you say paragraph C of the Companies and Allied Matters, of the Companies Income Tax of CETA, okay, which was in effect prior to the amendment by the Finance Act of 2021. Like I said earlier, these institutions are exempted from, companies income tax. I mean, payment of income tax. So, but now, because the definition then is like the profit of any company engaged in ecclesiastical, charitable, or educational activities of a public character. So that word, public character, is not specifically defined. Okay, but now the word public character has been defined. The word public character, public character has been defined. So if you have a private school, for instance, what's the motive? What's the objective of having this school? Okay, so you have a private school and students pay 500 million naira per term or per session. You pay 100 million naira 100,000, 500,000, 1 million naira per session or per term, depending on they say the quality of education, okay, and the serenity of the environment. That determines the amount you pay as your school fee. So we can compare that with Agungi High School, okay, Ayetoro Comprehensive High School, Iyanapaja Grammar School, okay. So you can compare these public schools that are of public character with private institutions. You can compare Covenant University with the University of Lagos. You can compare Oxford and Fodio University with, Bowen University. Okay. So, because people believe now that the public institutions are for the masses, the poor. Okay. While private institutions are for what? Are for the rich. Okay. So, if this is the notion, it therefore means that this private institution will be subject to tax. The income they earn should be subject to tax. So the FIRS circular, on tax information guide for educational institutions in Nigeria deleted the word educational from the section 23 subsection 1. Okay, so that's the amendments. The amendment of the Finance Act of 2021 deleted the word educational. So this means that educational institutions registered as business and limited liability companies will be liable to tax under the SITA. Again, private institutions, except where such institution is registered as incorporated trustees with public character. In other words, if you have registered your company as a limited company or limited liability company, or it is single-handedly owned by an individual, two or more persons, or a group of people, okay, then it will be liable to tax in as much that they earn income and their motive is profit oriented. Okay. But if it is of public character, public institutions, of which the motive is to add value to people, okay, then that would be a different thing. So this amendment of section 23, paragraph 1, paragraph C, is all about subjecting some class, of these institutions who may be seen as a business entity, a limited liability companies. So they will now be what are subject or liable to tax. So profit derived from any company engaged in educational activity will be subjected to income tax, irrespective of their incorporation status under CAMA, or whether such profit is distributed to its shareholders or not. So the implication of this is that schools, preschools, elementary school, secondary school, higher institutions, okay, will now be subject to what? To tax. They will be required to pay income tax on their profits, depending on their revenue threshold, 25%, 25 million, less than 100 million, and above 100 million. And above 100 million. Okay, so now there is an exemption. Okay, before I mention the exemption, so one may want to ask that, okay, where do they derive their profit from? Okay, so just like a normal business, you incur expenses and you earn income. So when your income is higher than your expenses, you earn profits, right? So profit derived from tuition fees, sale of goods or merchandise, provision of consultancy, professional or other service for a fee. For a fee. Underline that word. For a fee. So if they are doing it like our public schools, okay, which are seen as a public goods, okay, that you don't pay, maybe your parents just pay maybe 5,000 naira or 3,000 naira per time, and the payments could be for maybe developmental levy, or maybe when you want to write, in your midterm exam, your um your term exam, maybe first term, second term, or third term, and they need money to print, some things. But now they even get the questions from the government and the likes. So depending, the bone of contention here is whatever service they are offering to people for a fee will be liable to tax. If they have used the money to make some investments, monies coming from this investment, such as dividend, interest, rent, royalty, dividend, or similar income, will be liable to tax. So if there is an institution, there is a school that has hostel, and the hostel, is leased or rented to students, and so they earn income from renting such hostel to students, the fee from such rent will be liable to tax. So let's take the tax exemption, then we move to another topic. So the tax exemption for for company like this, okay, carrying out educational activities may be to claim income tax exemption. Okay, so if they are to claim income tax exemption under this provision, then they have to demonstrate that their educational activities are of a public character. In other words, the educational activities are charitable in nature. The educational activities are charitable in nature. So maybe there is a school that we say, oh, the internally displaced persons can, attend such school. We are not expecting any money from them. This is a free education. Okay, so free education, no money, bawala, you can go. Okay, because they want to encourage people to learn. So if you cannot convince the tax people that the purpose of you establishing such school is for a charitable purpose, and you've not been earning income from such establishments, it means it will be liable to tax. So it must satisfy at least three conditions. One, serves educational needs on ground of kindness and benevolence. Two, without charging fees. And three, any surplus profit is plowed back into the educational activity. It is not shared by the proprietor. It is not shared by any group of persons. Okay, it is plowed back towards the educational activity. So again, three conditions must be met for a school, for an educational institution to be exempted from income tax payments. One, the educational activities must be to solve educational needs on grounds of kindness and benevolence. Benevolence. Two, without charging fees. And three, any surplus or profit is plowed back into the what? Into the educational activity. The company must meet these three conditions at the same time. Okay, jointly. Okay, all these conditions must be present at the same time. So it's not that, oh, we are doing this to solve educational needs on grounds of kindness and benevolence, but the profit, the surplus from this activity is distributed among the flag bearers, or is distributed by who ever has spearheaded such activity, maybe the proprietor, the board of trustee, board of directors and the likes. If this is what you are doing, then it will be subject to tax. Are we together? Hello.
Yes, sir. We are together.
Okay. So any question before we then take the question we have for today?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello,
Uh,
sir.
yes, sir. I've just heard you that from the explanation, sir, you said any profit that is plugged back, the institution must meet three conditions where the profit should be plugged back into the system for the progress of the education. Is that okay, sir? What
No,
happened?
so I said there must the institution or the educational or the company that is into educational activities must meet three conditions at the same time before they can be exempted from the income tax payments. One, the educational activities must solve educational needs of people, right? With what? On grounds of kindness and benevolence. Two, there must be no fee. That is, they are doing it without charging fees. And then three, any surplus or profit from such activity is taken back to the activity. It's not distributed in any form. Okay, so maybe they keep using it to bring more people into the program, or they get more lecturers, or they increase the salary of the lecturers, or they build more more blocks, more educational rooms, and the likes. So it's such that they don't distribute it among any other person.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question?
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
My question is there any way a school can have a surplus without charging a fee?
When we have all these ecclesiastical program or charitable organization, they do make surplus too. They have donors, because if they are not charging fee, some people will definitely be responsible for the sponsorship or sponsoring of the program, because they have to pay, except if the lecturers are doing it for free. And even if the lecturers are doing it for free, they will be using a facility for the projects, maybe a hall or a building or some building blocks. Sorry. So except someone has volunteered to donate, the school premises they will be using, okay, which is still by way of donation. Okay, so if they are not charging fees, they may have donors or sponsorship or a sponsor from different people or organizations. Okay, so yeah, they can still have surplus. I don't know if I go in the
Okay,
direction.
my second question is it not possible to charge fee and not having surplus? For instance, a school, you have a proprietor, you have teachers, what have you, they can be earning salary, and at the end of the day, they may not have surplus. So if they are earning salary and they are not having surplus, would they still be liable to tax?
Okay, so if they are charging fee, right? So it means one condition
It's
is
broken.
lost. Exactly. So they'll be liable to tax. So there's difference between me being liable to tax, right, and eligibility to pay tax. Do you understand? So if I'm liable to tax, it means my books will be reviewed, right? And apart from being reviewed, I will compute my income tax. After the computation of the income tax, I have my accessible profit, maybe loss from prior period, then capital allowance. You know, when you go through that process, and at the end, your taxable profit is zero, is nil, or is negative. If it is negative, you keep carrying the loss. But if it is zero, it is zero. Okay, so and if I should answer your question in another way, I would say you are saying your total revenue equals your total expenses, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't have deficit, you don't have surplus. So if you don't have deficit, you don't have surplus, and there is by no way depreciation expense, you know, for tax purpose, depreciation expense will be added back. Okay, so if by no way there is no depreciation, let's assume you rented the place you are using is not owned, and you don't have any other assets that you may want to capitalize. Okay, so and we assume your revenue equals your expenses, you have zero profits. So if you have zero profits, and while doing your accessible profit or loss, you still have zero, there's nothing to lose. So you only be filing your returns on a periodic basis in line with the provision of the tax law. And even
So
if you are exempt, that still
there's
doesn't
no minimum tax law for education system.
sorry.
Is minimum tax law not applicable for educational business?
So
Minimum tax payment.
that I need to find out, right?
Okay. Thank you.
So that I need to find out. You know what we just spoke about is companies' income tax. You understand? So it's company income tax. So whether they will now be liable to minimum tax. But I know they are going to pay educational tax. You understand? So you pay educational tax, and your educational tax is still a subject of your profits. Okay, so if there is no profit, there is no profit. There is no education tax. So, but this one now is company income tax. So I'm not sure, except I make more findings. So
Okay.
then I'll be able to answer your question with respect, because I get where you're going. That even though you don't have profits and you have revenue, right? That
Yeah.
minimum tax then applies, just like we have for other companies. But I don't want to answer that question now because I don't have much knowledge about that now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, welcome. So, any other question?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I think in respect to his what he's trying to say and from his contribution, I think what is most important is filing. Even
Okay.
if it is even you are not break even, and at a break even point. So if I think to me what I suggest, because I don't know how school organization will be make a profit even after they pay their salary, pay this, pay that. So I think it is filing, it is most important. So that's just my contribution from my side.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So whether you are paying tax or not, so you are still expected to file your tax returns. Okay, so I hope we've taken all the question and contribution.
Please, my network is kind of bad. I've not been following. So I want to know, where can we go and read more on these current issues?
So so the current issue is not just one or two. So I just picked one out of the current publication that we have with respect to tax. There we have withholding tax regulations. You know, we also have We have the withholding tax regulation, and then we have VAT withholding. What else again? So we have a whole lot like that. Okay, so it depends. But there is a topic. There is a topic in your study test in current issues. There is a topic in your study test on current issues and trends. So that will just give you a guide. So what they are saying in that topic particularly is that as an accountant, as a tax practitioner, you should be much aware of what is happening in your industry. You should not be like Adasika. Okay, so someone approach you and say, "Oh, can you tell me about the Finance Act of 2019 or Finance Act of 2020?" These are also recent issues. They are current trends. Okay, so you should be able to talk about the Finance Act of 2019 or the Finance Act of 2020, whichever. Okay, so even though you cannot say everything about it, okay, so at least you should say something. Okay, so I don't know if I've answered your question that way.
Yes, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, so can someone read this question for us?
Let me try. The rapid growth in information and communication technology in Nigeria has brought with boundless opportunities and change in the way business activities are done. Am I audible?
Yes.
A significant number of transactions in Nigeria in recent times are consummated using mobile devices and online payments. In the same vein, the online platforms mostly operated by international private entities are perceived by various governments in developing countries, Nigeria inclusive, as a means of undermining the economic activities of their host countries through non-payment of taxes in spite of their significant economic presence. In the light of the above, the Finance Act 2019 provides for the treatment of digital and other service providers in relation to significant economic presence of a foreign entity. This was also followed up with the issuance of company income tax significant economic presence order 20.
Hello, we can't hear you anymore. Or can you still hear him?
I don't hear him.
Maybe it's network. Will someone else take it up?
Hello, sir. We can't see the question again.
Oh, really? But I'm still
And
sharing. I'm not.
I'm seeing it here.
seeing it. Yes, I'm seeing it.
It's still there.
Yeah. In the light of the above, the Finance Act.
You can continue, madam.
Okay. In the light of the above, the Finance Act 2019 provides for the treatment of digital and other services providers in relation to significant economic presence of a foreign entity. This was also followed up with the issuance of companies' income tax, significant economic presence, Order 2020 by the federal government of Nigeria. You have been contacted by foreign online outfits with interest in mobile networking and consultancy Tweety Incorporation, California, USA, through its official partner in Nigeria, MA Abiero Partners, to explain issues on significant economic presence of foreign entity deemed to be operating in Nigeria. Required as a tax consultant to Tweety Incorporation, you are to draft reports explaining the underlisted areas. A. The objectives of the relevant provisions of Finance Act 2019 and Company Income Tax, significant economic presence, Order 2020, in respect to significant economic presence of a foreign entity. B. Conditions for the determination of significant economic presence for digital activities. C. Determination of significant economic presence for technical and consultancy services. D. Activities exempted from significant economic presence in Nigeria. The tax implication of the Order 2020 on activities of Tweety Incorporation.
Okay. Thank you. So,
A pleasure.
looking at this question, how do you assess it? Which topic do you think this question is talking about? Hmm?
I think
Which topic?
current
Digital
issues.
economy, sir.
So it is digital economy, but someone else mentioned something else,
I
which
think
is what
it's current issues and trend in
is current, exactly,
taxation.
current trend, recent issues. So one of the recent issues we
It's
have
the
in our
current issues, the
is the
emerging trend.
digital. You understand? So that's why I don't want to 100% nullify your response. Okay. One of the current issue that we have in our tax space is what is the digital taxation of what? So is the taxation of digital economy. When we talk about digital economy, we want to talk about online streaming, all these Facebook, social media activities, among others. Okay, so how do we subject them to tax? Because looking at them, they don't have any significant economic, they don't have a permanent establishment or a physical place like Facebook. Where is the office of Facebook in Nigeria? Maybe you want to tell me they have head office in Abuja or their headquartered in Africa is in Nigeria. I don't know. Unlike Microsoft, okay, that would now have Microsoft office in Nigeria. Okay. But if you want to ask me, Alibaba, where is the head office of Alibaba, AliExpress in Nigeria? Okay, so, and these are online businesses that, earn money in Nigeria. Jumia, is like a chain, a business chain where it connects both the seller and the buyer together. So it's a platform. So all those products are not owned by Jumia. Okay, so, and that's why they give you a delivery time. When you place an order today, except if the product is readily available, you may get it delivered to you today. Otherwise, it will take some time, let's say 3 days, 2 days, 24 hours, and so on. Okay, so then how do you now subject Jumia to tax? What do you expect Jumia to pay as tax? On what income? Is it on the sale of the product or its commission? So how do you subject Jumia to tax? And it's not just Jumia. We have other, digital business like that. So it's the current trend. And again, we have Finance Act 2019, the Significant Economic Presence Order 2020, released by the federal government in 2021. So these are still current trends, recent issues. So if you are not pretty much aware of this, order, the Finance Act of 2019, will you be able to answer this question? So the answer is no. Okay. So the answer is no. You may not, be able to to answer the question. So, as a tax consultant, you have to draft a report explaining the objectives of the relevant provisions of the Finance Act 2019 and companies income tax, conditions for the determination of significant economic presence, determination of significant economic presence for technical and consultancy service, and then activities exempted from the significant economic presence in Nigeria. And then lastly, the tax implication. I think this one should be E. The tax implications of the Order 2020 on activities of treaty incorporation. The Order 2020 is still the significant economic presence. So I've sent two what's it called? Two materials to you on recent issues. Okay. So the admin will share with you on the members area. One is on the withholding tax and the other one is on these educational activities. So now to answer this question, what do you understand by significant economic presence? Significant economic presence. Or if they tell you an entity has a permanent establishment somewhere, what does that mean to you? Or if it has a fixed base, what does that mean to you? Oh yeah.
I think it's talking about the incorporation where the company is registered.
Okay, where the company is registered. So like MTN now, the headquarters is in South Africa, right? But it has a permanent establishment in Nigeria, or you call it fixed base in Nigeria, right? We have MTN Nigeria that is also incorporated in Nigeria. Otherwise, we would have said that, oh, MTN does not have a physical presence in Nigeria. Do you understand? Now, when a company is not physically present in Nigeria and is carrying out operation in Nigeria by way of digital, okay, or by way of technology, then we say there is, and the entity is earning money from Nigeria. Okay, so there are conditions that will make it qualify under the significant economic presence. Okay, and that's what the question B is centered on. Conditions for the determination of significant economic presence for digital activities. Conditions for the determination of significant economic presence for digital activities. So it means if those conditions are not available, okay, then what do you say? What do you say? You say that what?
The company is not liable to tax in such an area or an environment.
The company is not, may not be liable to tax under the significant economic order. Is that it introduced the concept of significant economic presence, having income from their activities in Nigeria, which are hitherto not captured in the tax net. So in Nigeria before now, we don't have such provision. What we have is physical presence. Okay, so we talk about the company being physically, presence in Nigeria, or any profit through its permanent establishment, fixed base, and agents, broker, among others in Nigeria. But today, a company may not need to have a permanent establishment in a country, or a fixed base, or an agent, or a broker or whosoever or a representative before they can earn profits. Do you understand? So just imagine I am not in Nigeria. Okay, I can hold this class from anywhere in any place in the world. Okay, so I may be sitting in Canada and we are having this class. Okay, so the whole of management may not be physically present in Nigeria. We may be present in the UK and still we earn money from Nigeria. Do you understand? So the objective of the Finance Act of 2019 is to bring in more people into the task net. And the people of focus this time around are those in the digital space. Those in the digital space. And that are not incorporated in Nigeria. They are foreign entity in the digital space, any income in Nigeria. Are we together? Okay, so the company's income tax significant economic presence order was consequently issued by the federal government of Nigeria in 2021. So was it in 2021? No, I think it's September 2020. So someone can help me do the findings. So you can even type it to Google. Companies income tax significant economic presence order 2020. Hello, are you following? Companies income tax significant economic presence order 2020. So you should bring the date of publication. So I think it's either September 2020 or it is in 2021. So while you are doing that, so the order provides clarification of what constitutes a significant economic presence for foreign companies doing business or providing services to customers in Nigeria, in line with the provision of Section 13, Paragraph 2, Paragraph C, and then Paragraph E of Companies Income Tax Act 2004, as amended through the Finance Act of 2019. Now, Part B says conditions for the determination of significant economic presence for digital activities. What are the conditions? So this order, we've said earlier that the focus is on what? Foreign companies. So it says that foreign companies, shall have a significant economic presence in Nigeria in any accounting year. Where one, it derives 25 million annual gross turnover. Look at the threshold. It derives how much? 25 million annual gross turnover, or its equivalent in other currencies, from any or combination of the following digital activities. So the first condition there is what? Hello? The first condition here is what?
A threshold of 25 million.
A threshold of 25 million naira, or its equivalent in what? In other currencies. Okay, in any of the following or combination of the following digital activities. One, I mentioned earlier, we have streaming or downloading services of digital content. Sabinos is not in Nigeria, for instance, or is not a Nigerian. And we have Sabinos Limited. Okay, so Sabino Limited is into skit making. And then people in Nigeria are fond of downloading, skits from Sabino Limited portal. Okay, so the downloading of these videos, these skits, okay. Hello, are we together? The downloading or streaming of these skits, or what's it called? Whatever, will amount to an income to Sabinos Limited. Now, the revenue from the streaming or downloading, once it is up to 25 million naira and above, in that case, Sabinos Limited will be liable to tax in Nigeria. It could be music, it could be movies, it could be applications, games, ebooks, to any person in Nigeria. Okay, in as much that the person that is downloading, that is streaming, is present in Nigeria at the time of streaming or downloading of such digital content. Are we together? Is that understood?
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
is it understood? Okay, that's one condition. Condition number 2, we have transmission. Transmission of data collected about Nigerian users, which has been generated from such users' activities on a digital interface, including websites or mobile applications. You know, this one is not about streaming, it's not about downloading, but it's about transmitting of data, transmission of data. Okay, so transmission of data collected about Nigerian users. We have TikTok. Okay, we have, let's say, YouTube, or we have Facebook. If they are transmitting the data about Nigerian, the data collected about Nigerian users, okay, maybe someone is doing a research and they want to see the number of Nigerians using TikTok, using Facebook, using YouTube. Okay, so transmission of such data collected about Nigerian users, okay, which has been generated from such users' activities on digital interface, including website or mobile applications, will be subject to tax where the income derived from such activity amounts to 25 million naira or its equivalent in other currencies.
Hello, sir.
Another condition, okay.
I have a question to ask, sir.
Okay.
Like this Google link that we're using now,
Mm,
this Google Meet we're using now,
mm.
how do you arrive at the revenue content of what we're doing here? Me, I'm not a technical technology somebody.
Okay, so for us to be able to use this space, Study Gold must have subscribed to Google Meet, right?
Okay.
Study Gold created the platform for us. There is a link, right? Without the link, you cannot access it. In some cases, you can't just share the link with anybody. We have registered users. Okay, you've registered for this class. Whoever that have not registered may not be able to access the link. Do you understand? Because you are not registered as a participant, so you may not be able to access it. There's a restriction, it's not for public use. Do you understand? So, and there's limited use to it. So if you are not subscribing, okay, there may be limitation to the how do we use to call this thing? To its use. There may be limitation to its use. You know, there may be some features that will not be available to you until you subscribe. You know, there are some applications where they tell you can download and access them for free. But if you want to access advanced features, okay, of such application, they may ask you to pay a certain fee. Do you agree with me? So Study Gold, I believe, must have subscribed to Google Meet channel. It's just like if you want to use Meet and Teams, rather, you want to use Teams or you want to use Zoom. Okay, so if you are using that free this thing, maybe it's every 30 minutes that you'll be logged out and you have to log in again, log out, log in again. You understand? So, but if you have subscribed to their annual this thing, okay, and you say, oh, you want to use it for an organization, you know, there's individual use, there's organizational use. So, like Study Gold must have subscribed to the organization, okay, one, and not the private, the individual package. So, and that's why we are able to connect at any time, any day. So if it's annual subscription, they keep paying this annually. So their income now is on that subscription. Okay. Why for MTN, you are using your SIM, right? You are using your data to access this. That's another stream of income. Okay. So MTN is earning income from us as of now, if you are using MTN, if you are using Glo. So assuming Glo is not a Nigerian company and it does not have a permanent establishment, it doesn't have a physical company or is not incorporated in Nigeria, they don't even need to come to Nigeria before they can earn this. Okay. So you are using their channel to access this class. Okay. Without the SIM, you don't have data. So that data is earning Glo income. Okay. Glo might have even, subscribe to Google Meet channel for us to be able to use Glo to access Google Meet. Do you understand? So
Yes, sir.
that's about transmission.
All right,
Streaming,
thank you.
streaming income goes to Glo. Transmission, subscription goes to Google Meet. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we have provision of goods or services other than those under subparagraph 5 of the order, either directly or indirectly through a digital platform to Nigeria. So Alibaba is not in Nigeria. AliExpress. So I want to purchase something from AliExpress, let's say wristwatch from AliExpress. Okay, I made the order. Wristwatch is a physical good, right? But I am not going to Ali store in UK, right, to purchase the goods. We interact online. I make payments online. Okay, so the goods is shipped. I can see the progress of my shipping from my application. Okay, so there is a sale, right, of goods. The same thing happens to services. Professional service can be rendered from anywhere in the world. Okay, especially when it comes to advisory. So unlike engineering service, where the person may be, physically present to inspect, the projects. So advisory service, consultancy may be offered from anywhere. Okay, so provision of goods or services other than those under subparagraph 5 of the order, directly or indirectly through a digital platform to Nigerians. Provision of intermediation services through a digital platform, websites, or other online applications that link suppliers and customers in Nigeria, such as the AliExpress I mentioned, or Jumia, assuming Jumia is not in Nigeria. Okay, we have Konga. We have other platforms too. So it uses a Nigerian domain name, that is www.ng. You have ng at the end. Maybe you have studygold.com.ng, or registers a website address in Nigeria, or has a purposeful and sustained interaction with persons in Nigeria by customizing its digital page or platform to target persons in Nigeria, including reflecting the prices of its products or services in Nigerian currency, or providing options for billing or payment in Nigerian currency. So we have other platforms like that they are not in Nigeria, okay, but they offer you to pay in your local currency. Okay, so that doesn't mean that they are in Nigeria. Okay, so they are only making it easy for you. So they have the exchange platform that they will exchange the naira for the dollar, and you notice that these people, they are billing, even though you are paying naira, it is pegged against the black market rates and not even the CBN rates. We have only few of them that will peg the conversion to CBN and ask you to pay naira. So they peg it to Boki and all these black market rates, okay, and they ask you to pay the naira equivalent just to ease you the stress of getting dollar. Do you understand? So they know where they can get the dollar from. Are we together? Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Can you
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, we are together.
Okay. So this is
We are
just
together, sir.
brief of the significant economic presence order 2020. So we've taken two what's it called? Two current trends in today's class. So other part of the question or questions for today will be made available to you by way of suggested solution. But that still doesn't stop you from reading. Okay, that still doesn't stop you from reading. Okay, so please make effort to practice these questions as they keep you prepared for your coming exams. Okay, so any question before we call it a day?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
The question I want to ask now, from the same question that you are trying to treat with us, where the question was asked that you have to prepare a report, because I was thinking that you are going to give us a kind of a clue to how to write this type of report. Is in form of external one or internal report? Because after writing, where we are write as an answer to the question.
Okay, so
Thank
I
you.
think I've taken these in our previous classes, but let me re-emphasize again for some of you that have not joined us then, right? So I have a question like this. You look at the requirement. Are you being referred to as an internal person or an external? So that's the first. So now I want to ask the question from every one of you. The first paragraph says, as a tax consultant to Tweety Incorporation, you have to draft a report explaining the underlisted areas. Yeah, are you being referred to as an external person or internal?
External, sir.
Why?
Being a tax consultant, you are not an employee of the organization.
Perfect. So, and before getting to the requirement, there's even another paragraph here which says you have been contacted by a foreign online outfit with interest in mobile networking and consultancy. Tweety Incorporation, California, USA, through its official partner in Nigeria, Mabiro Partners, to explain issues on significant economic presence of a foreign entity deemed to be operating in Nigeria. That's another evidence, right? To support
Yes,
that being referred to as an external. Now, in other words, you have been contacted or you have been asked by your chief financial officer, okay, to draft a report, okay, to draft a report explaining the underlisted areas. Who are you in this context?
You
Who
are
are
still
you? Yeah, what?
I believe you are still well, an agent tax consultant to the foreign company who would want to know the regulations guiding the business.
Listen again. You have
So
been
let me hear.
asked by the
Okay.
chief financial officer. You have been asked by the
Okay.
chief financial officer
Okay.
to
Okay.
draft a report. To draft a report explaining the underlisted areas. Okay, or let me put it this way. Because the question come in that way, in that form again. Your finance director has approached you, asking you to draft a report explaining the underlisted areas. Who are you in this context?
You are employer.
You're
Employee. You are
employee.
employee. Yes, sir.
Okay. So as a newly qualified accountant, in the finance department, draft a report explaining the underlisted areas. Who are you?
An
Employee
internal
of
person.
a employee.
You are an employee. Okay. Your firm has been engaged to provide a consultancy service to Tweety Incorporation, California, USA. Your managing partner have asked you to draft a report that will be submitted to the managing director of Tweety Incorporation. Who are you in this case?
Consultants.
Consultants.
So this is how you determine who you are in the context of the examiner question. So the next step for you is your words, is the way
Understand?
you then draft your report. Okay. So if you are an internal person, what type of in what form will your reports be? If you are an internal
Memo
person,
form.
what form? It will be in memo,
A memo, internal memo.
A memo form.
in memo,
In form of a memo.
exactly,
Memo.
from to subjects, dates, Abi.
Yes, sir.
Then the title you then start writing. If you're an external, in what form do you present your report? If you're an external, in what form do you present your report?
A memo.
No. Letterhead.
Letter.
I mean,
Letterhead.
You use a right.
Letterhead.
So you use a letter.
with a letterhead.
Exactly. So you use a letterhead.
Official
So
letter.
exactly, yeah, official. So you use a letterhead. It has your address, the name of your company, right? So then the addressee, who you are addressing it to. Okay. Then dear sir, dear ma. Okay. So at the end, your closing also matters. Okay. Yours sincerely. Okay. In light of that, before yours sincerely, you can, in light of the above, I hope this. So you should be able to reach a meaningful conclusion. Then you close. Yours sincerely, you sign the name. If you are writing on behalf of the firm for P&G consultancy firm, P&G firm of chartered accountants, you close it, you sign. Self-in. So in the suggested solution you'll be having or you'll be getting, it is because this is external, okay, so it is in form of a letterhead. So you can also use that as a guide.
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma.
I'm still interested in knowing, is there any data bank where one can know, or the federal revenue can always know the 25 million threshold of these networking businesses? Is there any data bank that they can go in and get it easily like that?
Yes, now. So
Okay.
this thing is not a small thing, no. So you see, one of the reasons why task is interesting is because it's practical, and I love it so much. So there is a ruling or a regulation that we call country by country reporting. Country by country reporting, and there's this provision on exchange of information. Okay, exchange of information. So the Nigerian Tax Authority, if they have identified AliExpress or any other company that is not registered in Nigeria but earn income from Nigeria, let's say Facebook, Twitter, among others. Okay, if they have identified them as any income from Nigeria, they can write the tax authority in US. They can write the tax authority in California. They can write the tax authority in whichever country the person is. Okay, and say this person, based on this, and this, derives so profits. This, that they should provide them the details of the income tax return they submit. So they want to know the share of profits of Nigeria and the share of profit or the income they derive from Nigeria. Okay, so under the international tax treaty, okay, so this is permissible. Okay, and that's why you see different countries signing different treaties. So it's just unfortunate that recently the Nigerian government, back out from being a member of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. Okay, so And then we still have other international treaties. We have the EU.
All right, sir. I'm asking because recently, are you getting me, sir?
Tools that will enable them, determine the profit or determine the income that's been derived from Nigeria. Are we together?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm interested in this topic because recently my brother have just been appointed as a CEO of the Digital Bridge Institute in Nigeria.
Okay, yes.
And I'm very close to him. I want to see where, from my own field, I can give him a professional advice. That's why
Wow.
you see I'm interested in this topic.
Yes, so you can go further by reading more on the topic from your study tests, and do not limit it to your study tests. Read articles. There are more than 10 articles on this, 10K. There are hundreds of articles, so not only in Nigeria, because digital taxation is not only Nigeria headache. Okay, so I think I'm trying to remember the name of the country that started it first. Oh, I've forgotten, and I used to remember. So then US joined, France joined, the other countries start joining. I know Nigeria too. Nigeria no go carry last. So our government also, chose to go in that direction and adopt the digital transition in as much as it will bring more money to the government. Okay, so why in Nigeria we have chosen significant economic presence. Okay, so in other jurisdiction, what they have chosen is slightly different from significant economic presence. Okay, so each jurisdiction has its own unique name that's given to it. But the bone of contention is, are you deriving income from Nigeria? Or from that jurisdiction? If the answer is yes, you are liable to offense. And this is also attributed to the source principle of taxation. Okay, it's attributed to the source principle of taxation. So we can discuss further.
I will look for your numbers so we can discuss. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Once again, thank you everyone for joining. It's nice